and welcome to your best life with Allow Me Brigway. I'm a transformation life coach, and in this video, I want to share 4 ways that you can keep yourself motivated. Now, here's the truth. Motivation is a scarce resource. We're all looking for it, and it seems that not very many people can actually hold on to it for as long as they want. But it's also a necessary resource if you're going to achieve the things that you set yourself to achieve. You even need motivation for simple everyday things like getting out of bed in the morning to pray, going to work, logging in at your computer, doing the task that you know is due in 2 days' time. You need motivation to cook. You need motivation to go look after your children. You need motivation sometimes to even sit down and speak to your spouse. It's a necessary resource. At different times in your life, you will need motivation. However, in varying quantities and degrees. So if it's something that you have trained and disciplined yourself to do, the more disciplined you are at showing up and doing something, the less motivation you will need. But usually that's after you've been doing it and been disciplined enough to do it for a period of time. But before you get to the point where habit takes over and you don't need that much motivation anymore because your body is now conditioned to showing up and doing that particular activity or task or whatever it is, before you get there, you will need to learn to stir yourself up. You will need to learn to keep yourself motivation before you get to the threshold where habit takes over and you need little or no motivation to show up and do things that are required of you. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. How do you motivate yourself? Because you can't always rely on people to motivate you. Okay, so that's what I want to talk to you about today. How do you stir yourself up? How do you motivate yourself to show up and keep doing the things you know to do when you don't feel like doing it? Before habit kicks in, before the discipline of showing up takes over, right? So I have 4 ways that I want to share with you today that you can do that. The first one is actually to do with your outlook regarding that particular goal or outcome you desire. The first one is to take time to document and celebrate your wins. You're thinking, how does that actually lead to motivation? It does, in a very strong way. So for example, if someone says, I want to build up my motivation to go on a diet and lose some weight. So if that is, for example, their goal, they want to get a healthier lifestyle. They want to start exercising. They want to start eating the right foods. They want to drink more water and so on. That is their goal, right? Now, if that person, and they've set this goal for, let's say, 6 months, that by the end of 6 months, I want to be at a certain goal weight and I want to be living this kind of lifestyle effortlessly. Along the way, they have mini wins. They have things that happen. For example, they find that now automatically they're drinking, 2 liters of water every day and they're not even thinking about it. It's become a habit. That's a win. Or before they started this journey, they were not doing any kind of exercise. They had what people call a couch potato. But by the end of the first month, or let's say by the end of the second month, they're exercising regularly. They're walking, they're doing their strength training maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And it's becoming easier and easier that they're actually starting to enjoy it. That's a win. So if that person is not documenting those things along the way, like by the end of week 1, see what happened, or by the end of month 1, see what happened. If you get to, let's say, month 2, and it looks like, oh, this weight is not shifting, I'm tired, I don't know if it's working. Listen, if you don't have something to look back to and let you know that you are not where you started, guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose motivation and you're going to give up. You must document what is happening along the way and periodically go back, look over those wins and thank God for them and say, I'm just so grateful. My goodness, when I started this journey, I couldn't even walk for 2 minutes, but now I can walk 5K and I'm enjoying it. That's a win. Go back and that will keep you motivated. So get in the habit of documenting and celebrating your wins along the way, even if they are tiny little wins. Every little counts. The second one is to become your own greatest cheerleader, particularly with your words. You have to get into a habit of speaking the right words to yourself because words carry energy. Stop telling yourself that you can't do this. Stop telling yourself, oh, I'm just useless. Can I just do this? Every time you fail, do you know what you should do? Naturally, you want to hit yourself on the head. Naturally, you want to say things like, I'm always doing this. Why can't I get it right? That's what you want to do naturally. But do you know what is counterintuitive but is super powerful? Actually build yourself up. Have you ever been to a game where there are cheerleaders? They cheer the loudest when the team is losing. I'm not talking about fans in the stands. Fans in the stands, they are quite fair weather. So the fans might start saying boo and all that and shouting, guys, play better. But cheerleaders are different. Cheerleaders, when they're losing, they cheer the loudest. Why? Because they're trying to create energy, to put some energy into that team to lift them up. You have to take on that role. How? Through your words. Through your words. So regarding every important goal that you're reaching for, write down a few statements. It doesn't need to be a million. It could literally be 1, 2, or 3 statements, but write them that powerful statements that you pick up, write it on a card, and you read it and speak it to yourself every single day. So for example, you could say, through Christ, I can do all things. Christ is walking with me on this journey, and I know that I'm able to achieve it. You have things like that. It could be scriptures. It could be quotes. It could be things that you sat down, declarations that you sat down and you wrote. But you should have something that you're pumping into yourself every single day. You know, like I said, words are energy. Words are energy. Words stir emotions. So if you find that you're feeling a bit down and depressed, you have not either been hearing the right words or you have not been speaking the right words to yourself. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're very happy, you've just, had a win or whatever. You're just feeling very happy that day. And all of a sudden you get a phone call and the person on the other end tells you some bad news. Will your energy, your emotions now go from, I'm very happy to, oh my goodness, this sad thing happened? Can you see how words transmit energy? So the person's words have transmitted that negative energy that has taken you from your own positive energy down to that negative energy. So you don't need to wait until you feel bad to start speaking to yourself, because you'll find that it takes you longer to get back into that state of motivation. Do it every day, whether you feel like it or not, whether you're happy or sad. Just 2 or 3 statements, write them down, and you can use those statements for every area of your life. It doesn't need to be specific to one area. Okay, so be your own cheerleader. Say things you want to see as opposed to things that you are seeing. Did you get that? So if you fall, if you fail, if you make a mistake, if things are not going well, stop saying what you are seeing. Start saying what you want to see, and what you're seeing will become what you want to see. It's a law. It's a law through words. Through words. The third one, of course, is to pray consistently. Keep your prayer life going, because I'm sure you know, going into the presence of God, there's this level of energy, of peace, of joy that you live with. Going into the presence of God, it just keeps you motivated. You want to keep going. Why? Because He will supply you with the strength, right? Pray into those goals. When you're praying into it, the Holy Spirit will begin to show you things. He will link you with other people. He'll create a pathway for you to succeed in that goal. And when you are succeeding, you find yourself more motivated to reach the final destination. So carve out time to pray daily into that goal and to receive God's help regarding it. And the last one is have an active social life. Active social life. Think, what's that got to do with staying motivated for me to reach my goal of running a marathon? It's very important. Because you know what? Depression and anxiety and worry and all these negative emotions actually thrive more when we're alone with our thoughts. Now, the motivation is not just about reaching the end of the goal you're reaching for. We're saying generally in life, if you want to experience a more joyful life, and of course, the more joyful you are, the more motivated you will be towards the outcomes you're seeking. So they all relate and link together. To do that, you need to have an active social life. Don't make every interaction you have with people about growth, personal development. How can I improve? No, listen. Just have encounters with people, relationships where you just gist and laugh. You go and watch a movie. You pick up the phone and you would gist with this person for 3 hours, and there's nothing notable that you guys have talked about. You've talked up, down, middle, but you've laughed. You've enjoyed it. You come away feeling like £1,000,000. These things are necessary. So, one of the things that I ask my clients to do is to have a social calendar. Don't leave it to chance. If you want to keep your motivation at a high level in life, have a social calendar. Plan it and say, okay, fine. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do the work that I'm meant to do. However, at the weekend, I'm dedicating 2 hours on Saturday to just having fun, to just laughing, going to see a movie, hanging out with a friend, getting on the phone with my best friend, whatever, reading a book, pursuing a hobby. Have a social calendar. This thing, I promise you, will go a long way in pumping you with life, right? That keeps you motivated. So those are the 4 strategies that I have for you. My name is Olaomi Brigwe, and I will see you in the next video.